Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new video for the Batman movie clips and behind the scenes videos that everyone's been posting the past couple of days. You've probably been seeing it all over social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere. There's so many cool Easter eggs, so we'll break it all down. I waited a couple extra days before making my video just to see if anything extra cool would wind up dropping, and it turns out it did. We did see a big Superman Easter egg on the set this morning, so I'll explain that too. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Of course, I'll be doing bonus videos until the movie gets here. It was delayed again recently. Now the movie is coming out March 22nd, 2022. But I'll just number these as we go along just to stay organized, so starting with the big set videos first. First, we have a video of Robert Pattinson's Batman on top of the clock tower here. The scene was being shot day for night, meaning that they filmed the scene when there's light outside, but they film it using camera settings and then post-production to alter the footage, making it look like it's happening at night. Notice how prominent his cape is. This just seems like a version of the trademark Batman scene that you get from pretty much all of the Batman movies, where at some point in the movie he has an iconic scene brooding, looking out over the city, then launches into flight, gliding out over the city. Christian Bale's Batman did it, Ben Affleck's Batman, even Michael Keaton's Batman did it a lot. The cape itself has always been used as a big part of the glider mechanism of all the Batman costumes. There's another set video of him entering and exiting the Batcave with Catwoman and their motorcycles. You actually get a much better look at his costume as well. It looks way more badass up close like this. A lot of the earlier pictures from the set that we'd seen were very blurry. We didn't really get to see all the different parts of it, but look at how many gadgets he has. Most people are drawing comparisons to Lee Bermejo's version of the Batman suit with the way the armor plating looks. Obviously, a lot of people have theories about what's going on with the Batman symbol. It almost looks like he can pull out the two different pieces, the two different sides of his bat symbol, and use them as batarangs to throw at people. And there's the big theory about them actually being the two different sides of the gun handle that was used to kill his parents. Most versions of comic book Batman keep the gun that was used to kill his parents at various points, but there was actually a story that Kevin Smith did for the Batman anniversary a little while ago where he actually melted the gun down and used it to make his bat symbol. Kevin Smith would lose his mind if they wind up doing that in this movie. Most people are looking at his gauntlets here, thinking this is a big Court of Owls Easter egg, just because these look exactly like the same type of gauntlets that the Talons wear. If we're talking about doing new things that the movies have not done before, Court of Owls would be one of the easiest slam dunks for Matt Reeves to go to at some point, even though the movie itself seems like it's going for more of a Seven and Zodiac aesthetic in terms of references. I'm assuming because it looks like Catwoman is leaving and entering the Batcave with him during these and on their motorcycles. This is much later in the film after they started to work together. Most of the trailer footage that we saw is only taken from less than like 25% of the movie, and during that it seems like he's catching her burgling this rich person's house for the very first time. It would be funny if this winds up being Wayne Manor. There was also a version of a Batman story where one of their early encounters is him catching her burgling Wayne Manor before she knows that he's Bruce Wayne and before he knows that Catwoman is Selina Kyle. Their motorcycles also look way more badass up close too, heavily customized, and they look like they're right out of Batman the Animated Series with this really stylized design. We've seen the inside of his Batcave, so it just seems like he heavily customizes all of his vehicles, which is typical for Batman. But you do have to remember, the way their costumes look, kind of the pared down look, even though they're very aggressive looking, all this is meant to look very simplistic compared to more modern Batman movies that have been the older versions of the character with much more advanced technology. This is still Batman Year 2, so given enough time, he would also evolve the same level of technology that, say, Ben Affleck's Batman has in his movies. Then there's all the set video that people have been posting of them on the steps in the aftermath of the car crash. This all looks like it's happening around the mayor's funeral. We've seen a lot of trailer footage there where there's this big attack from the Riddler. This is actually what the Riddler looks like during this scene, like he's there in the background, just kind of keeping tabs on everything while it's all going down. You get a much better look at Robert Pattinson's character pulling up in what looks like his daily driver, which is a 1963 Chevy Corvette Stingray. Remember, it's a Batman movie, so they're mixing and matching a lot of different eras, so everything looks kind of old-timey, very gothic, even though this is happening during modern day. Speaking of special cars, there was also a modern purple Maserati with gold highlights spotted on the set. No, I don't think it belonged to the Joker. Everything that Matt Reeves has said about the movie has been that the Joker isn't a huge character in this first new Batman movie. There have been all kinds of rumors this past year that they'll cast a new Joker for one of the sequels, and there might be some Easter eggs for the Joker somewhere during this movie, but apparently according to rumors, he himself is not supposed to appear on screen during this first movie, but he does exist in this universe. Here's a really good picture of a lot of the mains standing together. You have Catwoman standing next to Carmine Falcone. A lot of people think that this is an indication that they're actually doing a big Catwoman Easter egg from the Long Halloween and Dark Victory comics. So during those, she actually believes that she's the illegitimate daughter of Carmine Falcone. Later, those comic books wind up debunking that theory. It doesn't wind up being true. Her father winds up being some other person. But for a lot of the story, she herself believes that she is his illegitimate daughter. You also probably noticed a really big Easter egg for Michael Keaton's Batman movies. So if you look at the boots that she's wearing as part of her costume there, she's wearing the exact same boots or replicas of the boots that Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman wore during Batman Returns. They've only been filming for a little while, but I wouldn't be surprised if we spot more Easter eggs from the older Batman movies, maybe even some Easter eggs from the classic Adam West Batman. A lot of the mise-en-scène of this version of Gotham, the aesthetic, looks a lot like Tim Burton's Batman movie aesthetic. Most of those designs, when you talk about the really iconic designs of that Gothic version of Batman, came from Anton Furst. Usually when people are talking about the really mind-blowing designs of Gotham, they're talking about his designs. Those are such a big deal that they've actually influenced a lot of the modern Batman films, even though each new director kind of does their own thing, like Zack Snyder has his own design language for the way his Gotham looks. But a lot of all the new Batman movies borrow a little bit in some way from Anton Furst, especially the Arkham games, which most of you have probably played at least a little of. We get a much better look at Colin Farrell's Penguin in the light of day, and no joke, if someone didn't tell you that Colin Farrell was playing the Penguin in this movie, almost no one would have guessed that this was him. The makeup job, the prosthetics are so complete that he's totally unrecognizable. I hope this movie winds up winning an award for some of those makeup jobs. This version of the Penguin is given his trademark name mostly because the shape of his face and his nose make it look like he has a penguin's face, unlike the more comic booky version who is also extremely short and very, very fat, with his entire body resembling the body of a penguin. Speaking of Tim Burton movies, by the way, Danny DeVito's Penguin literally looked like a penguin because of his deformities with the webbed hands and the way he had to waddle around like a penguin. But this morning, if you heard people talking about Superman inside the new Robert Pattinson Batman movies, what was happening is that somebody actually caught pictures of a group of Halloween partygoers behind the scenes. One of them was dressed in a very Christopher Reeve-looking Superman costume, meaning that either Matt Reeves is seriously messing with us from the set of the movie and they just put one of these extras in a Superman costume for fun, or Superman really does exist in the world of Robert Pattinson's Batman movies. So just to be clear, obviously one of two things, they're messing with us, or this is just a Halloween partygoer wearing a Halloween costume that looks like Superman's costume, not Superman the character himself actually appearing in the movie. Here's the thing when it comes to other big DC characters that aren't part of the Batman comics, like Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, the other Justice League characters. Everything that Matt Reeves has said the past couple of years has made it sound like his movie wasn't supposed to be directly connected to the DCEU movies the way that, say, like James Gunn's new Suicide Squad movie is connected to Justice League. Because, for example, Harley Quinn from the DCEU is in that movie, firmly placing it in the DCEU. She's playing the same version of her character from the first Suicide Squad movie from Birds of Prey. So it's really easy to place that in the continuity, like Shazam is meant to be connected to Justice League because you have Henry Cavill's Superman, at least it's supposed to be Henry Cavill's Superman in his costume appearing at the end of that movie. But everyone associated with the new Batman movies say that it's supposed to be doing its own thing in its own little bubble of continuity, and that's why everything looks like it's happening pretty close to present day, like the Lincoln Navigator in this crash scene is from the last 6 to 8 years or so pretty late model, implying that the movie is taking place at least somewhere in the 2010s, if not closer to present day. And in the Ben Affleck Justice League Batman timeline, his version of Batman would have been in his late 30s around this time, about 10 years older than Robert Pattinson's Batman per the timeline of the Batman movie. You have to remember that Batman donned the cape and cowl around his mid-20s, and the movie is supposed to be Batman Year 2, so this is late 20s Batman. Don't worry if it sounds confusing, Matt Reeves is going to get asked 1,000 questions about where this fits in the continuity and potential for future Justice League crossovers when they hit the press tour. Because the movie isn't coming out till March 2022, obviously that's not going to start till early 2022, so it'll still be a while. So we'll continue to get a bunch of set videos and Easter eggs from behind the scenes. So it'll be fun to try and spot everything and see if there's anything else that's just as big as this Superman Easter egg, just trying to connect it to other big DC movies. For now, though, my assumption is, without the addition of The Flash sort of tying everything together with a multiverse, Matt Reeves is just planning on building out his own little Batman-centric trilogy of movies with potential for more spin-offs for other characters within that. But if you spotted any other big Easter eggs in all these behind the scenes set videos and clips or pictures, just write them below in the comments. While you wait for everything, click here for The Boys Season 3 trailer. Jensen Ackles is going to be playing a really big character. And click here to rewatch the Batman trailer a billion more times. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.